Hey YouTube land, welcome once again to another action figure review by Tycondrius, and today we're looking at it's a Walmart exclusive in the States. I'm not sure if that's the same case over here in Europe, but this is the retro carded G.I. Joe Baroness. Now, this isn't the same retro carded figure that was released a while back with the 3¼ inch line. This is a retro carded classified scale, which is the 6-inch scale Baroness figure. Now, I know a lot of people who ordered them from Walmart ended up getting them crushed and pretty much damaged. The card I got isn't too badly crushed. I bought mine at retail, and the only reason it got crushed is because I had to transport it back from where I bought it. But other than that, the card was actually minty card. So unfortunately, I'm one of those people who open my figures. So unfortunately, I've opened a superior mint on card figure, and I know people will probably criticize me for doing so because it's already open and the value goes down, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'll just go quickly over the card. It is interesting to note that the card art is designed to resemble the original Baroness card art. Now, I don't have a copy of the original Baroness card art. I thought I had the file backing card for the retro one for the 3¼ inch line that they did, but I don't. But thankfully, it does have the same image on the back of Scarlett's box here. Now, I'm not sure if you see that. Let me just angle that. You can see the image is very similar. She's actually in the same pose. The main differences is the armor that she's wearing, the weapon she's holding, and the armor that she's wearing. The head looks like it looks like the same artist kind of either transplanted the head onto the newer body or vice versa. So main difference is she still retains her kind of normal thigh legging boots type thing. But the main differences is she actually now sporting the shoulder pauldrons that the classified figure has. She has the design work of the classified figure, and she's holding a more modern weapon, which is one of the weapons that she comes with. But the head sculpt, or the kind of facial sculpt, just bring the card down that way, the head sculpt is pretty much dead on for the same one that was on the Baroness card art, and you just have the cobra enemy. So if I flip the box around, now there is other figures in this wave. The only other figure I've seen over here is the Lady J, and I know there's actually 2 other figures, and I know exactly who they are because I've seen images of them online, and you can even tell by the silhouettes who these are. So this is the Gung Ho figure, and this is the Destro figure. Now, there's not much difference between this Destro and the classified series, other than the fact that he has eyebrows, which is kind of funny, because he's based on the kind of comic, or the cartoon comic version of him. Same with Gung Ho, he's based on the kind of animated series, and he's original figure, so he has the bright teal uniform instead of the dark combats, or the kind of dark military colors that his classified figure has. Lady J, I do want to get Lady J as well at some point. She's more akin to her original figure. She has a different backpack. She actually comes with her camcorder, which is an accessory the original classified figure did not have. There was something similar on her backpack, but it wasn't the same kind of thing. And she's in a brighter green than the previous figure. And if I just bring up the file cards on these are pretty much, I'm not sure if the English part is visible there, but there's pretty much like one line or one paragraph, and then the rest is just replicated in different languages. So it's not like the file cards of old where you had an entire write-up for in English on the character or card. It says role Cobra Intelligence Officer, primary specialty intelligence, secondary specialty fixed wing pilot, birthplace is classified, graduated from student radicalism into international sabotage, and the ranks of Cobra. So that's fairly kind of short and sweet for the Baroness. So onto the figure itself. So the figure is out of screen, so we'll just bring down the camera a bit so you can see it. So the figure itself comes with a couple of accessories. So most notably, I'll take the ones that she came with loose off. So she comes pretty much like this in the box, the holsters and the kind of glossy paint apps for her armor. She comes with a really cool figure stand. This is something the Classified series has not done. This is a Cobra logo one, whereas the G.I. Joe one has the G.I. Joe logo. And it's very reminiscent of the figure bases that you got with the 25th anniversary figures. So that is pretty sweet. You get 2 black pistols. They're identical in sculpt. They go into her holster on the back. You can just pop them in without having to line them up. They do pop straight in. She comes with a tiny pair of glasses, so be careful with these. They're very fragile and they can get lost easily. There is 2 slots on either side of her head, so you can line them up and just push them in. Now on the Classified figure, which I will bring in at near the end of this review, the actual glasses were glued in place, or at least on my version they were. They were probably removable if you could heat up the figure, but I got mine second hand, so I'm not sure if it was the case that they were glued in place when you first got her. I have a feeling they were, because she had a swappable head. You also get this black rifle. Kind of reminds me a bit of a pulse rifle. If you remove the stock though and the kind of front design, it actually reminds me a lot of a pulse rifle, even down to the kind of the way this kind of is shaped over, and the underslung grenade launcher looks a little bit kind of bigger, but smaller than what would be on the pulse rifle. But it looks like someone took kind of the basic design of a pulse rifle and modified it. I know some of these are based on Nerf guns as well, so there is that. And this, if it looks familiar, is exactly the same weapon that came with the Cobra Trooper, and it's the same one that came with both versions of Cobra Trooper, the Target exclusive Cobra Island version and the standard release version. So bringing her back a little bit more, I'll bring in the other rifle she comes with, which is this, which is kind of a trademark style sniper rifle that the Baroness kind of is often depicted with. Again, this is actually another repack of a rifle. It is the same rifle that came with the Cobra Trooper from the Cobra Island set. So if you missed out on the Cobra Island set Cobra Trooper, you can now kind of complete the look by having both the rifle and the kind of, well, the sniper rifle and the kind of machine rifle, or the blaster rifle that he comes with, and you can put them on his back the way they should have been, and they do fit quite nicely. And they're I think they're in the same paint apps as those weapons that came with the Cobra Island Trooper, or the attacking Cobra Island Trooper. So articulation wise, her head is on a dual ball joint, so she has a ball joint at the base of the neck and then a ball joint at the base of the head, but you get a good range of movement. Her hair is kind of floppy, so that you can move it out of the way when you need to, but if you just do a kind of straight turn, it does get in the way. You have to kind of angle it up. It does make the head a little bit more tilted forward when you have it angled, but you just have to manipulate it to get the right position, and you can kind of get a good few looks on it, and good positioning out of it. The shoulder pads have that butterfly joint thing going on, and this smaller shoulder pad piece with the kind of snake emblem on them is a separate piece, so it is intended to kind of rotate around with the shoulder, and you can kind of move it out of the way of the shoulder a small bit to get a range of movement, but the arm really only goes up about that much. You have a single bend in the elbow, unlike some of the later figures where they have the double bend, or the male figures tend to have a double bend. You have hinge joints on the wrist, so you have up and down on the left, and I think it is up and down on the right as well. Yeah, she's one of the few figures that has up and down on both wrists, as opposed to in out on one wrist, or horizontal on one wrist and vertical on the other. So she has that. She does have a swivel in the wrists. She has a upper ab crunch, which can get a good range of movement, and side to side. The neck also gives you kind of a bit of head tilt as well, and kind of forward and back. Her lower waist gives you good range of movement. It can twist. It does look a bit unsightly when you twist it, so it's probably best just kind of maybe twist at the upper one a small bit and then twist at the bottom. Her hips can splay out that much. Her belt does tend to pop up off the waist, which is good because it gets out of the way of the hip movement, so it doesn't get too much in the way. She does have that drop down thing, so if you kick forward, you can have to pop the leg back into place again. She has upper thigh swivel, which is just up here. She has double jointed knees, and she has rocker ankles and peg holes. Now, if the sculpt on this looks very familiar, you are not deceived, because here is the Cobra Island version. Let me just move a few things out of my way. Out here in the way, sorry about this. So this is the Cobra Island version, and this is the new retro version. Head sculpt is identical. Only difference is the skin tone used for the face. This one has a more kind of fleshy, pinky tone to it, whereas the Cobra Island one is a lot more pale. Even the lipstick that they use for her mouth is a lot more, kind of has a more rose tint to it than the original. The body armor, as far as I can tell, is identical. The only main difference is, now I'm not sure if it's just due to age on my one, but this is more of a matte finish than the gloss finish. Same with the wrist guards. You'll also note that the wrist guards do actually have the Cobra emblem on them, but they're just not painted. She comes with the two exact same pistols that the Cobra Island version came with, except the one from the Cobra Island are done in gold colored plastic. She has a paint application at her ankle here that's not on the retro one. It's like almost like a thing for a heel spur type piece on the back of her boot. Again, the belts are identical. If I just move her arms out of the way. This one having paint apps for the Cobra logo, this one does not. The other difference is she has a knife on the Cobra Island version. Now, as I said, I bought mine secondhand, so the knife on this one doesn't come out. The guy I bought it off, or the seller I bought it off, said that it kept falling out, so they glued it in place, unfortunately. And that was back when this version of the figure was harder to get, so I kind of jumped the gun. I know Big Bad Toy Store got this version in. I'm not sure if it's still available, but they did have this version in for a while. And like, this is an exclusive Walmart. You can see the difference in the paint apps. The shoulders, from the shoulder down, has grey, kind of a light grey in where the kind of scales are. It's kind of translates a lot over the body armor, or not the body armor, but the waist as well. And then the hips, you can see there's like a grey where the kind of snake scale pattern is. Anywhere that has that on the figure, even on the back, you can see it. You can see it's been painted on the butt area and the legs, the side of the legs. You can see where it is on this one. It's just not painted. Even the shoulder pads, there's actually slight differencing. I think it's not even a grey. This one is more matte on the Cobra Island than the new version. Now, I did end up snapping the glasses on my one when I was trying to pop the head off, so that's why I think the glasses were glued on. You can even see the glasses have different paint apps. The glasses are the exact same, they just have these gold accents on either side of the glass. And it's all in all, to be fair, I actually kind of prefer this version of her over the Cobra Island. I know the Cobra Island one came with a bike, which I do have somewhere, and I can't dig it out at the moment, but she did come with a bike, alternate head. She did come with more bits, in the sense that she also came with that weird kind of snake kind of weapon thing that wraps around her hand as well. Whereas this new retro carded version comes with more traditional style Baroness weapons, and traditionally the Baroness is usually just a all black figure. But even still, like, all black figure, they did kind of go to town with the gloss to make it, or just not completely the same color, so there is very deviations in the colors between the black and the gloss, just to give it that little bit of extra oomph. Whereas I know they went to town on the extra paint apps on this one, and you can see it. So it really is up to your own choice which one you want to go for. Personally, I kind of prefer the skin tone on this one. If I had to, you could probably buy both and swap the heads and swap bits around just to make your ultimate Baroness. But the retro one I do recommend. It is, for one thing, it should be, depending on where you're getting it, because if you can get it at Walmart, it should be cheaper than this version, because this version came with the bike. It was around, the retail price on it at the time was around $50, between $40 and $50, whereas this one I think is around 20-ish. So there is a good bit in the price difference between these. I'll just bring the Cobra Trooper in there for a scaling as well, so you can see the scale of her next to other figures from that line. You do get a few more weapons, well, more traditional weapons with the retro one as well. As I said, it is a hit and miss, and it is personal choice which one you want to go for. As I said, I kind of prefer this version, even though it has a little bit less paint apps than the other. But overall, not bad figure. Oh, and just before I go, I will show her on her foot stand, or on her stand, if you want to do that. Personally, I generally don't use stands with figures unless they really need it. But you can see she stands quite well without it, or you can put her on the stand. So, great figure. I do recommend getting it if you're not too pushed on the card, because I know people who've ordered them from Walmart's website, got them posted, and they ended up getting crushed. If you can find them on shelves, you're probably better off. But if you can't, and you're not a big, if the card coming in crushed or damaged doesn't bother you, I would recommend ordering it from the Walmart site if you can get it. Or if there's any other places like eBay that have a reasonably priced version of her, not going too much over the top for her in a third party marketplace, then I would recommend grabbing her as well. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoy this video. Cheers.